So the good people over at Evolution Tool have sent me a miter saw and a stand and some different blades here to test out and see if they're going to work for my application here on a lot of this stainless and aluminum tubing. From what I've read and what I've seen on these saws, they're absolutely amazing. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to open this thing up. So we got the saw all set up here. It was very easy to put together. I probably should have filmed the whole thing because it didn't take long at all. You got to put the bottoms on the stand, the wheels, just some odds and ends up top. This all just snaps right on. It's very simple. The only thing I think I'm going to do is, these were the shortest bolts they sent me. I think I'm going to go through and whiz these off with a whiz wheel flush with the nut, just so I'm not hitting my finger when I adjust the clamping bar. But other than that, I mean, this thing it's unbelievable. It's very heavy. I didn't look and see what the weight was on it, but it's heavy. This will be the first cut it's made. I got a piece of 3.5-inch tubing in here. We'll see how it does. So, I'm anxious to see what kind of quality it does on this thin wall tubing. It's 075 wall tubing, so it's pretty thin. So I don't know how long these blades will last, but we're going to find out. They also give you this chart that I think is kind of important, that shows you where to set the blade on the depth. I think originally I thought this thing was a sliding miter saw when I first started looking at them. It's not. The sliding part is just to adjust where it's cutting at on the part. So it looks like they pretty much want it centered. Like on the angle iron there, you can see, they don't want it pulling back. They want it centered on the point of the angle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to cut this and see what happens. That was definitely quick. A little bit of a burr, but I mean, nothing bad. I'm going to take it over and see how square it is. Let me grab a square. I mean, that's right out of the box. I mean, it's perfect. I don't think it could get any better than that. So I'm really happy with that. I mean, that would have taken me, with my bandsaw, that would have taken me 5 minutes to cut that. And, it's a shot in the dark to even know if it's square. So, I mean, I think for that, that's impressive. I'm very, very impressed with that. I'm going to go ahead and do another cut here. That we point out too, that these things need to be perfectly centered when you tighten this up so it doesn't push this up. I think that's the whole theory behind this clamp. Would be my thought. Yeah, that will work. So I guess this always has to be on this side, is what I'm getting from that. Wow, that's not even hot. What you guys are seeing here is the plastic that's on this. The inside's got a little burr, but I mean nothing bad at all. I mean, the cut's good. This is that plastic. Should have probably taken it off there. I will. That's what the plastic off of it. The burr's on the inside, just like normal. The outside, I mean, that's a small piece and it's perfect. I'd like to see how this does doing like pie cuts and whatnot. But I'm impressed here. It's weird to me that the piece is totally cold. Like even with the bandsaw blowing air on it, it still gets hot. So this saw is advertised to cut 4 3/4 of an inch round. And I have a piece of 5-inch. I'm gonna go ahead and try it just to see how it does. I don't know, I measuring it, it looks to me like it would go through it, but we're gonna find out here in a second. On the pulling trucks that I do a lot of, the exhaust is normally 5-inch. So I'm kind of hoping that it will cut it. Grabs it there good. Let's see what happens here. Boy, that makes me happy. It cuts that. So that's 5-inch tubing. Now, if this was pipe or something, I don't know if it would make it through it. I mean, that cut is, that piece is totally cold. There's no heat in that part at all. So that's really impressive. Something else I'd like to mess with here for a minute and see if it'll work. I don't have any fittings to see, but I got a set of those S&S blocks. I've done a video on them before for mitering 90s. And I'm anxious to see if there's a way I can clamp them in here. Like so, you know, to where I could clamp this block in here, good and square, and cut. You know, I don't know, the guard might have to be held up, but I almost think it would work. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why that would not work. I think if you were careful, you know, as long as that thing didn't kick, which I really like these S&S ones. I've seen some other ones out there that are actually square, and I think that would be better for this because you could clamp the top of them too. As long as you could get that thing locked in there good. I mean, it's down past where the fitting would stick through. I don't know how good you guys can see that, but you know, it's a good 1/2 inch past where the fitting would be. So that might be something I try here soon with it too, because that would really make things easy if I could just designate this saw for everything. So I did find a fitting here. I'm going to go ahead and try to cut it and see what happens. It seems like, I mean, it's clamped in there good. It's nice and square. It's an old fitting, so it's not really going to matter. The only problem here is the stop. I don't know. It might work. We're going to try it. I mean, it worked. I need to, probably what I'll do next time is I'll clamp this with something down here on each side. But, I mean, that piece, there's no heat in it. Yeah, that's awesome. That worked good. Really happy. I mean, I'm impressed with it. You know, I'm gonna use it to cut pretty much everything. I don't really have any aluminum stuff right now that it's even worth putting the blade on and trying, but I'm sure it works perfect with aluminum too. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna try to keep track of my cuts on the stainless blade because I've had people tell me, oh, you know, they don't last long and that, you know, but I don't know. These blades are expensive and this saw is pretty pricey. I think you're gonna be somewhere like $1,200–1,300 for this whole setup with the stand, the saw, and a couple blades. But at the end of the day, if you can take one tool and do, you know, everything with in your shop and not have a mess, not have coolant, not have, you know, the speed being so much faster with this versus a bandsaw, I mean, to me, that's everything for what I'm doing. And then, you know, the quality of the cut, being that it's a blade, a solid blade, you know, you're not getting that wandering like you get on a bandsaw. If you end up, the feed rate's too high or something's off a little bit with a table or the piece isn't square, it just, to me, it seems like this is the ticket. So I'm gonna keep you guys posted with how this thing works, but you know, so far I'm thrilled with it. I think it's a great tool. And I feel like if you're on the fence about buying one, I mean, I'm impressed. So y'all have a good day. I got some other videos today I'm gonna try to work on for everybody, but everybody like and subscribe and have a good day.